this video for sailing and entertainment purposes only. You're dang skippy in it.
Lynn did not shower the whole time we were at my mom.
Why did you lie about the person you're with and say it's been two different people and it's not?
I didn't lie.
Hello everybody. In today's video we are talking about Amber Reid drama. Does the fun ever start? I feel like a girl of 2021 again. So our girl is in the middle of all kinds of different interesting drama. But before we get started, since I do pay for her membership, I just needed to show you this illustrious, amazing poll. Okay, so Amber wrote to her members only, do you want to play Choosy again in next live stream? Yes or no? I voted no, and no is winning. Okay, yeah, I'm going to play Choosy with your members only polls to tell you that ain't nobody out here wanting Choosy. By the way, here's the thing. Obviously, I'm not going to pretend that it's not close. So far, not playing Choosy is winning, but enough people voted that they did want to play Choosy. Look, here's the bottom line, okay? First of all, if you don't know what Choosy is, it's this ridiculous game where you pick your favorite sticker or croc charm, definitely an adult game. Yeah, Amber. Everyone who, is working for a living wants to play Choosy, okay? Like, people that are grown-ups don't want to play this game. Okay, so what happened is she forced Beck, her ex, to play this game in perpetuity. They didn't want to. I don't want to. A lot of people don't want to. More people don't want to than want to. Here's the bottom line. I don't really care per se if she continues to act this way, because I know that her live streams at this point are very, very, like, they're not, like, I don't think I'm getting what I paid for, and I think a lot of people are not getting what they paid for. The bottom line is, I don't know anybody that plays games with their audiences that was an instrument of mistreatment to your ex on live stream. Provide content, communicate with your audience in your future live streams, or stop doing the memberships. That's my opinion. The reason that Choosy is a bad idea, it's not just what I already said, but it's not actual content. People don't want to play games with you. They want you to answer questions, interact with them, but she'll never understand that. Anyways, we have a lot of drama ahead. As always, everything I'm saying is just for entertainment purposes only. Nothing is meant to be taken seriously, because I am sharing my own opinions, not facts, and publicly accessible information first made public by public figures. Please do not go to these people's channels and leave mean-spirited, negative, discouraging, disparaging comments. Entertainment purposes only. So she posted a video called Reaction Channels Are Lying About This, and Finally a True Rumor. Let's talk episode 5. I just wanted to show you this. This is pretty much like the first shot that you see when you, like, the first, like, view that you have when you open up her video. My first question is, why are you so smug? What are you so proud of? And Duper's delight, 100%. She's getting away with something. She's going to tell you reaction channels are lying about something. You know what's so wild to me? This is a person who is a professional, is so well known for lying that, like, that's what you're going to be known for on the internet, for lying. You have lied extensively about dating two different wifeys, who bought the engagement ring. You were Beck. You've lied about Beck. You've lied about so many different things, okay? Extensively. You have like 5 or 6 videos on your channel stating that you lied. So just very smug, things that she's getting one over on people with, like so smug. I don't know what you're so proud of. Okay, so she gets asked these 2 questions. Like, don't you think it's really hypocritical of you to continue to use your past, and not move on from it? Like, whenever you say, oh, well, this happened to me because of my past. And then she gets asked, like, do you understand, like, how terrible you treated people? And she decides to bring up Beck. And she says, well, this is why when Beck was making the videos about me, I definitely said that I understood why they were, telling their story and making videos about me. Amber. Dear Amber Reid, please wake up. Your narrative, you continuously pushing your narrative, is so funny to me. This is what she actually said. She said that Beck was the biggest manipulator she had ever met. She said that Beck was lying and, talking about her when Amber was, like, in a vulnerable time. You're still in the same time. You and the washcloths are still friends in the lavatory. Goal. Okay? So she decides to bring up Beck and lies about what she said. See, this is called manipulation of language. Yes, she did say, "Oh, I can understand Beck wanting to tell their story," but she immediately said that Beck was lying, exaggerating, and trying to push their own narrative. And how dare Beck and Destiny use 5-year-old screenshots, 7-year-old screenshots. She made a big deal about that when she herself showed screenshots from 2021 and 2020. Amber, you trashed Beck for exposing your terrible treatment of them. So this goes hand in hand when she gets asked, like, why do you still talk about your past when you were a child, and why, like, stop it already, stop going back to the past. Amber wants people to stop using her past, right, as talking points about all the bad stuff she did, but she herself constantly herself goes back to the past. Oh, well, this happened to me, this is why I'm like this happened to me, this is why I'm like this. And so that's why the person who was writing to her said that she was being hypocritical. And Amber's like, well, I talked recently in a vlog how I regret a lot of things I did, but I have BPD because of the things that happened to me before. Okay. First of all, let's never forget that this woman said she was not diagnosed, that she just had a few, like, she mirrored certain symptoms. And then when this didn't go over well, she started saying she was diagnosed. I don't believe anything she says. She could have been diagnosed, but I just don't believe somebody who is a monetized known deceiver. But here's my point. Amber, while our childhoods definitely shape the people that we are, they never, ever, ever will ever excuse our bad behavior. What you want to happen on YouTube is no one can bring up what you did last month, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but you can bring up what happened to you when you were younger to justify your bad behavior today. I mean, here's a silly example of this having nothing to do with people. Oh, I wasn't taught to drink water. As an adult who pays taxes and makes money and is on TikTok all the time, I know they be talking about water on TikTok. Girl, my point is, you are hypocritical. No one can bring up anything from the past, but you're using the past to excuse your bad actions today. Yes, our childhood shape us. Yes, it's terrible what happened to you in the past, but it doesn't mean we're going to excuse your bad behavior today. And for her to say, yes, I know how I treated my exes, and to bring up Beck out of nowhere, that's ridiculous. Bringing up Beck continuously when no one else is bringing up Beck, okay, not only shows you that Beck and the rest of Amber's exes are living rent free in Amber's head, but it's deeper than that. She's obsessed with her exes, and she'll never get over Beck leaving her, and she'll never get over Beck exposing the lavatory drama. Speaking of this, not the lavatory, please, please. Gets asked, like, are you scared that the rest of your exes are going to come out? And she's like, no, I'm not scared that the rest of my exes are going to come out and expose me. Actually doesn't answer the question beyond, well, no, I'm not afraid of any of my exes coming out and spilling unknown tea. She's like, there was room for improvement in all of the relationships that I was in. Amber, you know that if Wifey and Crystal come out, it's gonna be a really hecticana for you, okay? Look, at the end of the day, she's taking advantage of the fact that as of right now, Crystal and Wifey have not spoken out. TikTok, Pookie, you also thought that Beck would not come out and speak out about you. So I've noticed this in other facets of life. People, well, okay, I'll give you an example. You know how, like, when two people break up, the other person doesn't get revenge for like years, and the other person doesn't even assume or is even thinking that the other person can get revenge? People always believe that revenge is, like, coming right away, or it's not coming at all. That's not true. My advice here is that the best revenge is not caring. The best possible revenge you can get on your ex, if you want to know about my thoughts here, uh, live a wonderful life, be happy, and the best advice is to forget all about your ex and absolutely not care at all about them. And that's my advice to you. And, that's what I could say. Just forget about them. If you're looking for the best possible revenge, it's never being mean or anything. It's apathy, babies. It's all apathy. When you truly don't care about someone, that is the best revenge. So Ambi would not know apathy if it faxed it to herself. Sorry. Anyways, okay. My point here is this. Amberlynn, TikTok, okay? Your exes are coming. Now, there's this person that sends her in her lint review or whatever, a voice note saying, can you please stop talking about people who have asked you repeatedly to, like, stop talking about them. You're making things worse. Nobody will ever believe what you're saying anyways, because you're a well-known documented deceiver. And she starts manipulating the narrative. First, she says, no, I'm going to continue to speak out. But listen to how she manipulates the narrative here, okay? This is manipulation of language, manipulation, gaslighting 101. This person tells her, please stop talking about people that have asked you not to talk about them. A perfect example of that would be Beck. Beck asked for 4 years, hey, can you please not talk about me? And Amber continued to talk about them. Amber says, well, I've asked lots of people not to talk about me and they continue to talk about me. Are you talking about reaction channels? Because that's like the only people I could think of. And I've never heard you ask every reaction channel to stop talking about you. I think I heard you ask like maybe one person to stop talking about you, but you're a public figure. You talk about us, we talk about you. It's a ridiculous request. When you see, this is how she manipulates things. She knows not discussing this in the realm of public figures because everybody knows that people talks about celebrities and public figures. That's the job of entertainment. That's like entertainment jobs, right? The idea here is that she is manipulating the narrative. And first she says, well, if I ask people not to talk about me, but we're talking about it in your private life, who is out here talking about you online that you've asked not to talk about you from your private life, not your public persona? The reaction channels talking about you and you not wanting that is typical, but you can't actually expect people not to talk about you when you're a controversial figure. But the deeper pool of manipulation happens when she tries to use this as a talk, like little TED talk. And she's like, oh, please use your voice. Don't be silenced. Use your voice. No one is talking about silencing you, Pookie, with your 240,000 to 100,000 subscribers. Nobody's saying you shouldn't be using your voice. She's trying to appeal to young women and she's trying to tell them, be strong and use your voice. Yeah, they should do that. But in this case, that's not what we're talking about. There's a big difference between Amber, people using their voice to speak out and share their stories, which you're trying to manipulate the narrative by pushing that narrative when no one was talking about that. You see how she's manipulating language and she's getting called out for continuously, for example, talking about Beck when Beck has asked her, stop talking about me. And she's like, well, no, everyone needs to use their voice. To what? What did you use your voice for with Beck? To say that they only traveled to their sister's backyard? So Amber also starts calling reaction channels liars, calling them unreliable narrators. How interesting that you use the same word that I've used to describe you for a really long time, and says that reaction channels don't know anything about Amber and have been lying. And she starts doing something that she actually did in the last video she posted. I didn't talk about this. In the last What I Ate Today, or What I'm Claiming I Ate Today video, she actually made a statement saying that reaction channels are talking about her eating certain things when I know that they're not. I know that they're not. She made up a wild thing. It's just not true. Okay. So in this video, she does the same thing. She starts bringing up weird rumors that people haven't talked about in months, and she says that they're coming from reaction channels. Let me just be very, very, very clear here. The thing about where people from your own neighborhood and your own state were coming into the reaction channels comments and saying, I live where Amber lives, and the fires that she was talking about were not near her. How was that reaction channels? Reaction channels may have discussed your own neighbor saying that you were lying, okay? And by the way, Amber, you were lying. What did you prove with your little, like screenshot from a television network? Like, please, Pookie, calm down. You're lying and you are an unreliable narrator about what people are talking about. Basically, let me put this in a very clear way. Amber Reid continues to tell people that reaction channels are talking about things that reaction channels aren't even thinking about and haven't talked about in months, because she needs to create momentum to prove to you that reaction channels are unreliable. What are you talking about? We're just like the rest of your audience. We're regular people that are watching you BS your audience, and we have something to say about it. Reaction channels always give your audience a voice because you don't. Here's the bottom line. What she is doing throughout this video is she knows that reaction channels have exposed her. She knows that everybody knows the tea on her and that the majority of the rumors are true. So she is really just smoke and mirrors, like picking on random things that nobody cared about and no one even really talks about, like the situation with what was going on in her state. Which brings me to my main point. She talks about whether or not she faked a picture in Wisconsin, or was she faking hanging out with her cousins when instead it was taken while she was with Tommy. And what she does here is undeniable proof. And I'm going to go through the whole thing with you. But what she does here, what I think she's doing is she knows that reaction channels have figured her out, and so have her audience. So she's picking on rumors that nobody cares about, and maybe someone said a few things that may or may not have been true, and she's focusing that and she's making that the vocal point of everything that reaction channels say. No, people see right through this BS. People usually are telling the truth about you. Briefly wanted to talk about something that happened recently, and I think what it shows is that she's just a deceitful person, and whether or not she's telling the truth, she still manages to deceive people. I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. All right. There is a YouTube channel called Hecticana, who I will link down below. After Amber was saying that she was spending time with her cousins and her family, some people on the internet started, talking about where the photos that Amber had shown, because she was wearing like whatever, like a cheese hat, who cares, that this was actually filmed when she was in Wisconsin, okay, visiting her girlfriend at the time, Tommy, and that it wasn't really with her family. And then Hecticana made a few videos about it. My opinion on this is that Amber watched Hecticana, watched the videos, and then had this response. Okay. So people were saying, like cheese, whatever, Wisconsin, who cares? Honestly, the story in and of itself is petty. The fact that she felt that it was really important for her to address it says it all. So she wrote this. There's my mom. And she points to her mother. And I didn't realize it before, but you can see my cousin's hands also taking photos of me in the mirror. And then she decided to put like an annoyed emoji over her face, okay? Trying to prove that the clips that she showed, she was really with her family, with her mother, and, supposedly her cousin's hand, if we can even believe that, who cares? That this was not filmed while she was with Tommy in Wisconsin, it was filmed now, okay? Proving that she was hanging out with her family. To be honest with you, again, Amber, this doesn't prove anything. Your mother clearly drove you to Wisconsin. So, more than likely, they didn't just, in my opinion, drop you off and immediately leave. Maybe they spend the night. They could have been with you while you were hanging out with Tommy. Were they? I don't care. But again, the first thing I'd like to say is she absolutely, absolutely does not have the ability to prove that she's telling the truth, because she's usually lying. I can say this. Let's just give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she was telling the truth here. The way that she goes about proving that she's telling the truth is in a very disingenuous way. For example, why would you, knowing that you have an audience full of people that don't believe you because you have such a large history of lying, why would you cover your face in this picture? Of course, it seems to be her, but covering the face seems to be weird. Like, why would you do that? It's an odd thing to do when you're trying to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. I understand and I get that she's trying to convey that she's annoyed, but she could have just put that emoji like by her, not on her. So this implies a shroud of secrecy. She's hiding something. Look, people don't believe you. And by the way, she already deleted this post. This is a deleted community page post. What she thinks she's actually going to achieve is she's going to put a bunch of drama on her community page. Then she's going to delete it, and it's as if it never happened. And I have to tell you something. I'm going to go in a little tangent. We'll get back to this. It actually works, not on most people, but it does work on some people. A little tangent. You know how Foodie Beauty is really like not cared for by the audience? One of the reasons that this is happening, one of many, is because Miriam, whatever her name is, she continuously comes and she tells it to you like very harshly, right? She just says what it is after lying for a while, but she says it very harshly. Amber doesn't do that. Amber posts, deletes, hides, and only comes out with the truth when exposed. Why am I bringing this up? what I've noticed in the YouTube space and the YouTube communities is a lot of people fall for, if somebody tells it to you like it is after they were caught lying, like Foodie Beauty, they are deemed worse than somebody who hides it and only exposes it later when they're exposed. Amber likes to leave, Amber likes to shroud everything in secrecy, massively deceive, lie, and not say the truth until she's like forced to, right? Because she's being exposed left and right. Why am I bringing this up? This works because if you ask the general population of girl world, who do you think is worse? They're definitely going to say Foodie Beauty and they won't say Amber. I've said this before and I will say it forever. I think that people that are hiding bad deeds, this is not one of them. This is just an example of how she deceives. But listen, I think that in general, people that really deceive and do bad deeds behind the scenes and are only exposing things when they're pushed to because you're being exposed are way worse than people that are blatantly lying and then blatantly telling the truth. That's Chantal. So it does work for Amber because when people compare Amber and Chantal, they always say, well, Chantal is worse. I would at least call it a tie, or I would say Amber, because I think it's outrageous to continuously do bad deeds behind the scenes, like how she was giving copyright strikes, getting people removed from YouTube, doing all these things before to other channels. She was only exposed when those people exposed her. And that's not the only thing she does negative behind the scenes, as evidenced by a lot of her exes exposing her. Why did I say all of this right now? In order to say that it does work for her on a small scale to put a bunch of drama on her community page and delete it, because now that she's deleted it, a lot of people didn't see it, a lot of people don't know what's going on. Ambi, can I call you Pookie? It doesn't work on most of us. Now, there were some deleted comments that she also deleted. Here they are if you're interested in what people were saying about this rumor, and we will discuss this rumor. Are you still planning to read this Let Them book? It looks like you really need to hurry up and get it, meaning that the idea of let them, like the idea being like, hey, why don't you just let people say whatever they're going to say and you move on with your life? She's never going to do that. She's obsessed with herself all day long. She is looking herself up on Kiwi Farms, on Reddit. I can't imagine sitting all day long and reading about myself. Why can't you just ignore rumors? I don't think most people care about this pic, wherever it was or who took it. If there could possibly be like a theme of this whole situation, that would be it. Hecticana made a few very lighthearted videos. It wasn't a giant scandal. Yes, people were talking about it a little bit, but in a lighthearted way. If you've been in the Amberverse for a long time, you will know that there's a difference between giant scandals and silly things. I would never call this a scandal. The fact that she needed to justify this with an answer that she then deleted makes me not believe her. If you believe that you are proving to an audience that this was filmed with your family and not in Wisconsin, then leave it up. Now I don't believe you. I think that you're lying about something. I don't know what you're lying about, but now it's shrouded in doubt. You have now caused doubt within me. In general, I actually believed her before she started deleting this. Here's the thing, there's lots of reasons that people may delete stuff. It doesn't always mean that they're hiding something. But if I personally was going to post proof that, like I was lied about or something like that, I wouldn't delete it. I think that this picture might have been taken with her family and not in Wisconsin, but it doesn't matter. This woman is obsessed with all reaction channels and was watching Hecticana. Now, the best part of the story is this. She posts a screenshot from her Instagram and explains that she was alerted to this whole situation through Instagram. The reason that she's doing this is to prove to her audience that she probably did not watch Hecticana's videos, which she clearly did. She only addressed it after this person made a bunch of videos. The idea behind it is this also doesn't prove anything, Amber. You showing us that somebody mentioned this topic to you on Instagram doesn't prove that you didn't watch Hecticana's videos, and it doesn't prove that you're not responding to his videos. You know why? Because since you are a public figure and you have so many followers, of course, people are going to reach out to you about things that other people are making videos about. The best part of this whole thing is it wasn't a scandal. I originally believed her and I didn't care about it. Like, I didn't even talk about it when it first happened. This is not a big deal. Nobody cares about this. It's so weird to me that she needs to address every single rumor or every single statement that is made about her. I think that when somebody is trying to hide things, they have a tendency to over explain things all the time. There's lots of things that are constantly being said about lots of YouTubers that are not true. Do you see them constantly coming out like and answering silly things? I can understand responding to things that's an ongoing issue on your YouTube channel, but this is ridiculous. And the thing is, Amber, the reason that this came up is because you have a very long-standing history of deceiving people. You lie to people all the time, all the time. All the time. You say contradictory things where you claim that it's something else, but it's clearly this, okay? So at this point, was this picture taken in Wisconsin or with her family? I don't know at this point. I was originally inclined to believe her. At this point, it just doesn't matter. It's so funny to me that she will address every rumor except the important things. Like, people have consistently asked her, why did you lie about your breakup with Tommy twice? And she won't address it. But she'll address this, something that there was a few videos made. It wasn't a scandal. It wasn't a big deal. She's 100% watching Hecticana. She is 100% obsessed. Most of the rumors about you are true. If this one wasn't true, it's possible. It's very possible it wasn't true. It wasn't a good enough rumor to even address because nobody cares. The thing about Amber is if you have watched the Amberverse for a long time, you know that she would film lots of videos in one day. And the thing about her is that you'll never really know when a video was filmed. So it's hard to say. Like, for example, like if you wear like nail polish and it's a different color, you can see that it's a different day because, you change nail polish. Of course, you could change nail polish in one day, but, most people don't. She wouldn't. She in the past has gone to a salon. So now that she doesn't wear nail polish, it's incredibly difficult to even discern when a picture was taken because you have deceived your audience for such a long time. They don't believe anything that you're saying. You never proved that this picture was not taken in Wisconsin. And deeper than that, you deleting everything shrouds you in secrecy and controversy. And more importantly, when I watch your content, I feel doubt. More doubt from Pookie. So she decides to address this rumor and she goes out of her way. She shows that when she was in Wisconsin versus when she was hanging out with her family, she was wearing different earrings, her eyeliner was different, and just everything was different about her. She had a different purse, different earrings. Okay, Amber, even if these are two different times and like the few people that talked about it got it wrong, let's just say that for the benefit of the doubt, because like I said, I originally did believe her. The thing is, you are grasping at straws. This is manipulation at its finest in gaslighting. I know what you're doing. You take one thing that a few people talked about that might not have been true, okay? Let's just say it might not have been true. And you use this as an example of how reaction channels lie about you and how people spread untrue rumors about you when everyone here knows that the majority of the things that people talk about you and the majority of the rumors about you are true. Are there some that are not true? Yes. But you see how much effort. I mean, Amber Reid put more effort into proving that that rumor that like a few people talked about, it wasn't even mainstream or anything, was not true than she has into her whole career. It's called grasping at straws. People know what you're doing. They know how you're manipulating. So you latch on to one thing that was not true after everything else that was true was exposed about you. The majority of the rumors about her are true, even if this one isn't. I also wanted to talk about Ambi's, can I call you Pookie? Other video from this past week called My Mom is Suing Me. Before we get into why that's against the TOS, I just wanted to say, I don't know if anybody here remembers me saying a while ago that I didn't think it was a good idea for Amber to keep writing down that Tommy and her broke up. And she wrote that down a lot of times and they didn't break up. And at this point, she claims they're broken up. But the point of the story is I don't really believe her fully. I think she's in contact with Tommy. That's my opinion. But what I was trying to say earlier, before they finally broke up for the last time, supposedly, allegedly, is that I don't think it's a good idea to write things down that you don't want to happen. And she clearly doesn't understand what I mean by that. So when she titles her video, My Mom is Suing Me, do I think that her mother's ever going to sue her? No, probably not. But the energy that you're putting out into the universe, since you care so much about the universe, Ambi, like she keeps doing tarot card reading and she says that, like, the universe is communicating with her. Yeah, go communicate with the Kermit. My point is, Amber, since you care so much and so deeply about the universe and all that stuff, my opinion on this is that it is a very bad idea to put stuff like that out there into the universe, since you care about the universe so much. Saying my mom is suing me, you're basically saying that, like, you're gonna get sued. And one of the best ways to make things happen for yourself is to believe in it, and you keep writing it down. Like, I would, this my just my advice to Ambi and anybody else that cares: don't ever write things down that you don't want to happen, because it doesn't make any sense to write things down that you don't want to happen. That's all I'll say here, okay? It's a very bad idea to constantly reiterate something that you don't want to happen. I said that when she was constantly writing down, did we break up, for clickbait, did me and Tommy break up? And I was like, hey, maybe you don't want to write that down. And here we are. She's supposedly broken up with her. My general point is, don't write things down that you don't want to happen. And since girl is so obsessed with the universe and tarot card reading, surely somebody on TikTok would have told you that girl, I don't know if you know my personal opinion on Amberlynn Reid, the most popular girl in school, is she gets all of her information from TikTok. Well, I think she watches, I'm just kidding, but I think she watches a lot of TikTok, and she definitely gets her wisdom from there, if I could say that. I know Amberlynn Reid, wisdom in the same video. Who am I? Not a frog. Anyways, let's continue. Okay, let's talk about her vlog titled My Mom is Suing Me. So obviously her mother is not suing her. It was like a minute where in the video her mother says it in jest as a joke, and Amber says it's a joke, and then she titles her video that. So she knows that people will take it seriously and this is not allowed. So you can continue to break the TOS all you want. Girl. But one day you will be caught. You've been caught before and you will be caught again. This is misleading metadata. You cannot title your video with a title that the video is not about. Your mom is not suing you. How dare you title that, she is suing you? And you do not discuss this for the majority of the video. This is against the TOS. As always, it's okay, Ambi. Can I call you Pookie? One day you will 100% be caught. Moving forward from that, some fun stuff from her vlog. The entire vlog is a tax write-off, in my personal opinion. I know that she's not really allowed to write off a lot of the things that I believe that she writes off, but every time she shows you Amazon and the torrid hauls, and why she shows you her food is so that she can write all of that off on her taxes. I understand she's not allowed to, but my opinion is she's writing off a lot of the things that she shows you on her channel. So it gets really boring when you're just doing tax write-offs on your channel. Girl. Right, well, that's about it for today's video. Thank you so very much for watching it today. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this video. Check out this other video that's popping up here on a similar topic. Thank you so much for watching and spending some of your time with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.